Hi guys. So today I want to have a little bit of a different conversation because I've been watching a lot of this Ken stuff over on TikTok, as you guys know. And there's been this kind of turn of events that I think is super important to talk about, especially because I have a commentary channel. And essentially, what Ken is wanting to do is to silence the people who have been talking about him. And he's really targeting Meredith and Justin, who I discussed them in part one. So if you have no clue what I'm talking about, you can go watch part one if you're curious. But essentially, Ken's ethics have been called into question. A lot of the stories that he's been saying have been called into question. And people have been giving commentary on it, just like the internet does. This is not anything new. It's not anything unique to Meredith and Justin. And it's certainly not unique to my channel. Like, I have been talking about my opinions on internet stuff for a long time. But this is a really big deal because I listened to what Justin had to say today. And despite the fact that, he made a good point. He was like, I'm not scared of receiving a C&D from somebody. I'm not scared to be sued, but I am scared of what people with a lot of money are able to do.
Well, it seems that even your close friends don't really have a lot of respect for you anymore. So what's going on now is on his private Instagram, he is going to be calling for supporters. I'm guessing to dox Meredith and I is what I'm guessing. He's trying to take action. You're in desperate need of a new PR rep, and why do you need someone that works at TikTok? Is it maybe because the issues you have are not actually rooted in anything legal, and you're actually the one that's violating terms? Are you thinking you're gonna get an insider one? Because I know people at TikTok too. Senior network engineer for the largest internet provider in the US. I've networked a little bit. But come on, Ken, let's play.
Woke up this morning and saw Justin had posted this video. And if you're not following Justin, go follow. Great content creator. What he is saying is that it seems like Ken is planning some type of action, potentially against us. I also heard from another source that Ken said that he is taking some type of action. Because of something else that I have been through on this app, in particular with Rachel Zoe, I have seen the way that really wealthy people can silence small creators. And I think that Ken has potentially some big connections with Foresight, because I've also been told, this is what I've been told, that Foresight has really deep pockets with funding from the CEO's family's money. Yesterday, I actually heard from the CEO. He sent me this DM, which he has since unsent. His message to me kind of mimics Ken's apology, and I'll also say that I received another message from someone who is working as a freelance employee for Foresight, basically saying, like, you should stop doing what you're doing because you might ruin the company. Foresight made a strategic marketing decision in collaboration with their chief executive officer, Stephen Eddy, and their chief marketing officer, Ken Walks. And as creators, we are simply responding to content that they put out on the internet. TikTok allows us to connect and information share in a way that I really don't think we could before this app. I imagine that Stephen unsent that message most likely because Foresight is planning either to threaten legal action or take legal action. So I am worried, and I do hope that there's no legal action taken against me or Justin or anyone else who's been talking about this. So, I guess just stay tuned. Here's the funny thing. I wanted to retire my Ken content, Ken. Like, it was dying down. But then when I find, when I hear that you're putting this stuff out on Instagram, when I see that the messages from Steven were removed, I get a little nervous, and then I keep talking about it. So I don't know.
When people want to get things done and they have money to back up a team, a group of attorneys, the whole nine yards, they're able to do things that somebody like you or me would not be able to do. That's why so many times people in wealthy positions are able to silence people who have opinions against them, because they have the money and the resources to silence opinions and all of that. When it comes to what Ken is upset about, though, that's where I start to have a big issue, because people have given their experiences and talked about Ken's behavior, Ken's stories, Ken's content. In order to prove defamation, you have to prove that, number one, somebody was lying about you. And number two, how did their lies impact your career, your income, your reputation? And the problem is that from what I have seen, I haven't seen Meredith or Justin lie. If you guys are familiar with this situation and you know of lies that I don't know of, please comment down below.
Now, you can pause to read this yourself. I'm not going to leave it up here because I'm not making myself small for this man. So I do want to address and talk about this. First off, I am getting all of these personal messages. I almost feel kind of bad because I don't think that Ken realizes that he's lost the trust of nearly anyone and everyone. And am I afraid of legal action? Not really. I am afraid a little bit of rich people using power, but I think having the entire public opinion of the TikTok courts, I feel very comfortable in doing what I'm doing and saying what I'm saying. Now, in order for him to sue me for defamation, he has to prove that Meredith or I were lying. He has to prove that we made stuff up in order to gain clout. What I see in these messages is a projection, right? I made these videos. There was never a decision to make this video to go viral. I said many times that we don't celebrate a downfall, that we need to be mindful of this as mental health. We are not trying to go after someone. It was never about that. It was always been about challenging the ethics behind the marketing. And he still has not fabricated. And number two, if he did take me into court, he would have to prove I was lying. He would have to prove that a private investigator showed up at his house in the middle of the night. He would have to prove that he captured serial killers. He would have to prove that he was actively doing an investigation in Illinois without being licensed to be an investigator in Illinois. He would have to admit that he captured 2 serial killers without a public record, which would be kidnapping. So, am I worried about being sued for defamation? Absolutely not, because this has been done with integrity from my part. Am I worried because he's a little bit insane and probably the most dangerous he could possibly be, being backed into a corner like a snake? Yes. But with all of you here on my side, I'm pretty sure we could crowdsource a pretty good lawyer to take him down.
I feel like sending C&Ds out is like a wealthy person with a big ego. That's their way of feeling powerful. Oh, I'm going to have my attorney send a C&D. I've said this before. If you, as a big YouTuber or big influencer, if you feel like a commentary channel is doing something that is against that platform's terms of service, that's something that you take up with the platform. Sending a C&D is not going to get you very far. In fact, if you want somebody's video taken down, it is more, it would be more resourceful to work with the platform instead of sending the person a C&D. Because what's going to happen when someone receives a C&D? They're going to make more content about it. They're going to be able to use your name because you're the one that sent it to them. And chances are, unless they have lied, you're upset because they have an opinion that is against you.
So this morning when I woke up, the bio was gone in my TikTok. Hold please. I just thought, oh, the app can be weird sometimes. And a few minutes ago, I went to go update it, but it wouldn't save. And it says it's because I have multiple community guideline violations. I'm rarely a betting woman. Notice I said rarely, but I would bet that this guy had my account mass reported by followers that are supporting him. And it stinks because as a content creator, it's super helpful for me to have my email in my bio. And now I can't do that. So if anyone's trying to get in touch with me, meredithcollabs@gmail.com. I'll put it in the comments or in the caption. But once again, thanks a lot, Ken.
It's funny to me because defamation and slander are thrown around so often on the internet. And those two are so hard to prove in court. Just because somebody doesn't like you and they might use some choice words that you don't like to hear about yourself, trust me, I get it. But that doesn't equal defamation. If I had 1 million followers and some of the people that have spoken about me, like, I would look like a fool to send them a C&D. I really would. And I would never, because I know that sending a C&D would equal more content for that person. And I simply just don't like their opinion. I don't agree with their opinion.
Let's talk about defamation and cease and desist letters. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Casey. I'm a traveling trial attorney. I mainly talk about sports, pop culture, and increasingly frequently Southwest. And before I did the kind of work I'm currently doing, I was an entertainment litigator. So I know a lot about defamation and a lot about cease and desist letters. Before I get into it, this isn't legal advice. This is just some background, especially for those of you who are talking about a certain creator named Ken. If you are a creator that's been talking about another creator named Ken, who has been posting about a supposed serial killer in Chicago and one in Austin with increasingly less credible information, and you're worried that Ken may send you a cease and desist letter or sue you for defamation, let's talk about why that doesn't really matter. First, cease and desist letters can be anything. They don't have to have a real basis. I'd venture to guess about 80% of them are complete bullshit. But have a lawyer look at one if you want to be sure. Suing somebody for defamation is generally, I would say, a bad idea because here's the thing. An absolute defense to defamation is if what you're saying is true. You can't defame somebody by saying something that's true. You also can't defame somebody by sharing an opinion. It has to be a statement of fact. And if the person you're talking about is a public figure, the standard for whether that's false is even higher. You have to have made a statement of fact that's false with actual malice. And actual malice is just a fancy way of saying not only was the statement not true, you knew it wasn't true when you said it, or you had information that you should have looked into that would have told you it wasn't true, you just blatantly ignored it. Now, strategically, back when I was in entertainment law, we would literally high-five each other if somebody sued for defamation for a variety of reasons. Generally, in entertainment litigation, both parties are suing each other. Oftentimes, they would sue for defamation for filing the initial suit, which in California is just a big no-no. The other reason strategically it makes zero sense to sue somebody for defamation is because when you sue somebody for defamation, suddenly the thing that you hated that much is now in the public eye, and the lawsuit itself can become a story. This is famously called the Streisand effect because Barbara Streisand filed a lawsuit in 2003 over pictures that were published on the internet of her home, and instead of the photos just disappearing off into the internet, the lawsuit made sure that they were findable and publishable because they were now part of public controversy. So the big takeaway here is if what you're saying is true, you don't have to worry about defamation. And if you're thinking of suing somebody for defamation, I really wouldn't do it. You're just going to drag out the airtime on this thing.
I don't know a lot about Meredith, but I can tell you guys because Justin started making his Ken content more recently, I can tell you kind of what my opinion on Justin is. I think that he is someone who had his experience. He shared his experience before. I think he took his experience and he decided to use his experience as a way to create content around the Ken situation because it's something that he was seasoned in. So he decided to go ahead and make content and talk about, okay, this is my experience. This is my part of my resume that I can apply to this. And using my experience, here are my opinions based off of all of this public content that Ken has put out. I don't think that Justin is a vindictive guy. I don't think he's here to hurt anyone. I think he's just like a lot of the rest of us who has an opinion. And I hate to see wealthy people try to bully people who have an opinion that is not in their favor. It's not fair. It's not okay. And unfortunately, I don't think that it's going to get any better because we've been going on years and years and years of people who have money and people who have power and resources using that in order to silence, quote, detractors. If there's a specific video where somebody can prove that that person was going against the platform's terms of service, then that's something that would be better to take up with that platform instead of puffing your chest out and sending out a C&D. It makes Ken look very guilty. It makes him look very threatened. And it makes him look like a fragile little ego, just like a lot of other creators online. So I wanted to make this quick video because I think opinions are valid. They matter. And I didn't see Meredith or Justin lying or coming up with outright, insane theories that were not based on anything. So either way, I will link both of them down below. I'll continue to keep an eye on this, but Ken is not looking too good right now, but those are my thoughts for now. So if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.